Guys. Again, and we'll play some of this stuff that Susie and Amy Trask got out of Daniel Jeremiah on the What the Football podcast later on in this hour. But Daniel Jeremiah said the draft starts with the Arizona Cardinals at 4 and what they're going to do.
Oh.
Which means he believes what I believe. It's going to be quarterback, and nobody's trading out. Bears are going to take Caleb.
Bears.
Washington's taking Jaden Daniels. And then Drake May's going to be a New England Patriot.
Boom.
Guy sounds like Phillip Rivers is going to go there with his ostrich boots from North Carolina and start going to Davio's.
There's no bolo ties.
What is going on?
No bolo ties.
Right.
Bolo ties were hitting in the late 90s.
No bolo ties, less kids.
Take the bolo. But
what's he going to do about that?
Is that the North Shore? You go to the what do you take the bolo tie? Where do you take the bolo tie? Quincy? Quincy? Bolo ties in Quincy?
The Chinese place.
By the way, that's a great Taylor Swift drop. Bolo ties in Quincy. At any rate, maybe not just the Arizona Cardinals as an inflection point, because I think the Cardinals have 11 picks, and what are you going to do? What are you going to do?
Take Marvin Harrison.
That's right. You take one of those picks and you take Marvin Harrison. And then that leaves the Los Angeles Chargers on the clock. And Tom Pelissero is going to be joining us shortly, and has spoken to tons of executives about all of these quarterbacks. And it sure sounds like the first 3 are going to be quarterbacks. And then I don't know. I don't know, man. Is J.J. McCarthy going to be 4th overall? And Jim Harbaugh has been saying he should be 1st overall. And part of that is because he's Jim. Jim's his spirit animal. And part of that also be like, hey, Chargers would love to have the 5th overall pick, and it's quarterback. We just hung up on a Zoom or hit end on a Zoom with the GM of the Indianapolis Colts, Chris Ballard. He said, if you can make that happen, 5 quarterbacks in the top, 11, 12, or 13. Okay. He goes, I'll come on your show anytime, because he wants as many quarterbacks taken, because that means
push him down.
Yeah, every prospect that's not a quarterback gets pushed down closer to his 15th overall and closer for him to trade up for. So you got the Chargers sitting there thinking, bring it on. 1st overall pick, not as a quarterback in this draft. We can have Marvin Harrison or Malik Neighbors or Roma Dunze or Brock Bowers or any of the offensive linemen. Bring it on. And Joe Ortiz, the general manager new to the Los Angeles Chargers, basically said, this team that I heard on the combine couldn't wait to trade out of the pick is now thinking, you better come correct. Otherwise, we're choosing.
Benchmark as far as return that you need to get in order to pass on one?
Sure, there's certainly, it's too good of a deal because of what you're getting back. Yeah, they have to make it attractive for us to move away from those players. The whole, it's a fair trade, it's a wash. I don't think that's a trade that we're interested in.
I used air quotes for it's a fair trade, and what I think what that means is, the old Jimmy Johnson chart.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. There's a chart that Jimmy made up years ago that a lot of general managers and scouts apparently use that, all right, well, 5th overall pick is equivalent to this pick and that pick and that pick. And everybody agrees that that's what it means on the chart. That's what they consider a fair trade. And he used air quotes. Like, you better punch it up if you want the Chargers' 5th overall pick. Certainly if it's 4 quarterbacks going in a row.
Right.
Or 3 quarterbacks and Marvin Harrison. You better come correct. Now, I don't think they're going to choose Joe Alt. A lot of people are saying because Jim loves offensive linemen. Rashawn Slater's a left tackle. That's the guy. He's an all-pro. You don't need a left tackle, and that's what Joe Alt is. I mean, we were even talking about Daniel Jeremiah, again, who was on What the Football with Susie and Amy. We were talking about this with him at the Combine, that Alt, as he's going through his offensive lineman drills, whenever he was asked to have his feet as if he was a right tackle, he looked way different. Yeah. You're not doing that. And did you see they added J.K. Dobbins to the mix of Gus Edwards as well?
I saw that.
And the whole concept that, Jim's not going to take an Ohio State guy in Marvin Harrison. He just signed J.K. Dobbins, who, by the way, scored 6 touchdowns on Michigan in one game against Jim Harbaugh.
Wow.
I'm looking at these signings from the Justin Herbert perspective, where do you think he's wondering, like, what are we doing? You know, we got these Ravens running backs who have been hurt recently. We got rid of my favorite wide receiver and my favorite tight end, and we let my other favorite wide receiver go, and now we're talking about trading the pick and taking a lineman. Like, you just paid me. I'm an MVP candidate every single year.
All right.
What are we doing?
All right, two things. First of all, J.K. Dobbins, it felt like it was 6 touchdowns. It was 4 touchdowns and 211 yards and 31 carries in his last game against Michigan.
How many years ago was that?
2019. Last time that Ohio State beat Michigan.
That was healthy knees ago.
And number two is, let me just say this. I totally understand what you're saying. I totally get what you're saying. And I understand a lot of Chargers fans are saying that about what's happening. 2 things. Let's get through the draft first.
Obviously fair, but I'm
Let's
just
get
wondering
through
if
the
Herbert's
draft
kind of wondering, like,
first.
okay, what are we doing?
No. If I'm Justin Herbert, I would be like, okay. You know, I know my last coach was a quarterback in college too. Mm-hmm. But this guy's a different story about being a quarterback in college and being a quarterback in the pros and being a guy who coached Andrew Luck and then looked Alex Smith in the face and say, sorry, we're going with Kaepernick, and then did what he's done with J.J. McCarthy now. And I understand that there was some fallow points in between. But I would, if I'm Justin Herbert, trust Jim's way of doing things, that maybe, just maybe, the run game can be supportive, that the run game can actually grind stuff out, that the run game can actually lead to an easier way for him to find his targets down the field, that he could possibly be part of the run game if they so choose. And then just one other thing. This may be unfair, but I'll say it anyway. How's it worked out otherwise for Justin? How's it worked out?
I mean,
how's it worked out otherwise?
Worked out in what?
For him, personally and professionally.
Well, he's put up a lot of big numbers.
Enough to get paid.
And he's gotten paid.
But so he's been paid.
Which has shown him he's the franchise.
What next? Let's try it a different way. Try it a different way.
Of what? Just handing it off 40 times?
No, that Keenan Allen, terrific, sublime, can maybe go to the Hall of Fame one day. Get it. Mike Williams, really good, can stretch the field. As a Jet fan now, I'm hoping he stays healthy. I get it.
Yeah, for sure.
Let's try a different way. How about a different way? Where most likely, because of this coach, the crazy charging stuff ain't going to happen. All right? And the fourth down decisions that are placed in front aren't going to be some whacked out scenario. And that those things will get removed. A run game will be one of the reasons why it's removed, because you can actually move the ball on the ground. And let's see what happens with Jim bringing in a fullback and doing the Jim Harbaugh thing and see how that works out for Justin Herbert. I totally get what you're saying. I totally understand why Chargers fans might be like, well, we didn't sign up for that. I mean, we signed up for everything else with Jim coming and everything else. We didn't sign up for
90s Smash Mouth. Like,
maybe
that's not today's game.
Well, the Ravens took it to the 1 seed last year, and then when it came down to it, ran into Mahomes, and their problem is they run into Mahomes twice, and they can't stop Travis Kelce. I bet you that would change too. I bet you Jim's going to do a better job of covering Travis Kelce. Put it all together. Try something different. You know, you keep bashing your head against the charging wall as much as you do. Let's try something different and see how it works before it's criticized. And also, let's see how they do in the draft before you criticize. But I think it's valid what you say. Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.